our Instagram, we'll just do a live like this. Okay. This is fine. All right. Hello.
Hello.
So welcome to our episode 3 of CHIT with the CHOIS.
It's number 3. We're on a streak. It's
Yes.
officially a streak.
It is. It's
Yes.
the third one, which is really exciting. For those who don't know us, I'm Journey, and this is my husband.
David?
And we started this series 3 weeks ago, and it's our way of, working together, collaborating together, and just us staying accountable and sharing our challenges and lessons and the things that we learn along the way.
Yeah.
So welcome. Typically we are on Instagram Live for this, and also YouTube Live. It's just not happening today for some odd reason that Instagram is a part of. But we're happy that you're here. Let's get started. Let's get started right away because, we are behind. Okay, so I prepared 3 truths/myths about, my industry. And you?
I also prepared a list. I did a little bit more than 3, but whatever I don't get through, we can maybe do another session, or people can ask questions, or I don't know.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So I'll ask you first.
Sure.
What is your first number 1 topic?
First myth.
Okay, first myth.
So this is my favorite one. This is one where, and I'll just read it. My first myth is lawyers have all the same skill, knowledge, and ability. One of the things that I think I wanted to at least let the audience know is this also comes more as a, if I could use it, also a pet peeve of mine as well too, because I think you have a lot of individuals who probably also have friends who are attorneys or just colleagues that are attorneys, and they think that the attorneys have all the same skills, same knowledge about everything that's related to law. And so I wrote this down as a myth because most folks, I think, similar to what musicians kind of go through, it's not like just because you play a cello, you understand how to play the violin. You may not understand the basics of it, but for someone to come and tell you, oh, hey, look, I'm looking to do an event that requires a cello, requires a violin, you think you can play it? And that's kind of similar to what I experience in my field, is that I work in the corporate side, specifically doing more transactional work. So when I get requests that people say, oh, hey, I got a speeding ticket, you think you can take a look at that? I'm the last person that you probably want to have, take a look at your speeding ticket. And, I also had requests for, hey, I have this criminal, issue or record. You think you can help me kind of expunge or take care of this? I'm just like, I have no clue how the criminal side of the world works, and nor do I know how to even file what's necessary to help you with that. So that would be my first myth.
Okay,
Yeah.
So that is a false, you guys. I find it funny when people ask, oh, can you ask your husband the question? And I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know that he will know, because I have questions that he can't even answer. And I think typically lawyers don't like to answer any questions because they do what they do, and there's so much on liability that they're the most skeptical, in my opinion, to share their professional opinions. It really is, right?
Yeah.
Because people get sued whenever they quote a lawyer, so they really don't like to be involved unless that's completely in their niche and that's something that they practice in their professional world every day, right?
Yeah, I like to consider myself an advisor. So, and it may sound a little bit annoying because it kind of takes away that sort of, hey, you're my attorney, so you should be responsible for whatever you're telling me or guiding me with whatever, rule or guidance that I'm looking for. But really, we're here to just kind of show you, hey, this is what's available to you, and it's your decision at the end of the day how you want to move forward.
Yep.
So what's one of yours?
Okay, so I have three.
Okay.
And I'll let you guys guess, including you, I guess.
Okay.
Here's one. Here's the myth, okay, or an idea. And I'm gonna ask you guys. You need a lot of money to start a business. True or false? Do you need a lot of money to start a business? What do you think?
I already know the answer to this one. I want to say that is false.
Okay, that is false. And this comes from my perspective and my personal experience, and that is having established my JC Cello Studio, my music business, and also my global beauty brand, Monet. And I have to say, I say it's false because one, you can start a beauty business and start your own business where you can work from anywhere you like, on top of or in conjunction with or in lieu of whatever gigs you have going on today for like $200. So to me, that's not a lot of money because you can make that money back in like the first month. So that's my opinion on that. Now, when the other thing is, yes, starting with my music business did cost some money because there were things that I have to spend on, such as like legal fees, licensing fees, filing fees, and things like that. And I get a deep family discount. So that's been good because I think in order for you to incorporate something, I think it costs about $450 to $600 approximately.
Yeah, so it takes about, I think it's anywhere from $400 or above, depending upon the state that you're wanting to incorporate in or create a legal business entity would be the proper way of saying it.
That's right. And that is something that I want to share with you guys. You don't have to do that immediately. That I didn't do that immediately, but I was making honestly like $5,000 a month, and I didn't do the whole LLC thing for the longest time. But you can get it started away with like no money. Came out of grad school and I didn't even mean to start my own business. I just needed to, be able to live and figure out how to work as a musician. And, I used my social media contacts, emails, and just people that I knew. And I started reaching out to those people and started talking to people, let people know, hey, I'm a musician. I do X, Y, Z, and this is what I've done. And it was free. So don't ever let anyone tell you, oh, you need to have so much money to get started in a music business, whatever that may be. It is not true. You can start for free, like today, and as cheap as $200 if you want to buy into an already made program and all the training and such. So that's my take on that myth. You do not need a lot of money to start a business. You can start with $0. And this is a living proof. So, okay, your next one.
All right. So, I should have asked you what kind of format you're going to go with. So you talked about truths and myths, and, now we're saying false and true on this one. So I'll kind of present it in more of a statement where we can either decide whether if it's true or false. Okay.
Sounds good.
So I'll go to the bottom of my list, and this is contracts should be complicated. True or false?
False. It shouldn't be complicated.
Absolutely. I think that was kind of a throw up. I think a lot of times when we talk about legal documents, especially in my world, let me just speak to kind of what, just my niche, my industry with being a business attorney and working within an organization or a company, is that far too many times, I think a lot of people fall into this trap of, oh my goodness, our documents need to have all this legalese, all these terms and conditions, using the fancy words with, notwithstanding, or there's a whole bunch of these that I think that we get too kind of creative with our language. And so I want to just be the first one to tell you, or maybe if I'm not the first one, but I just want to reiterate to everyone out there that contracts do not need to be complicated. In fact, the more complex they are, it gives people like myself the opportunity to kind of poke at it. So if you're getting too complex or too creative with the wording, I'm going to be the person that kind of reads into everything and interprets it probably the complete opposite of what it was intended for. So what I'll say is, the simpler the contract, the better. Just always make sure that you are covering the most important parts of your business or the most important parts of the actual transaction that you're dealing with. So, obviously how you're going to get paid, who you're dealing with, what happens in the event that you don't get paid. All the other stuff are kind of nice to have, but if you get too, I guess, cute with it, just expect that there's going to be other attorneys out there just waiting and rubbing their hands together, looking for an opportunity to kind of, rip that contract apart. So simpler, the better.
So you're saying the more complicated the contract is, the more complex the other party can make of it?
No, yeah, it's kind of like that. So if you build too complicated of an agreement or legal document, obviously you're probably putting in more details, more exceptions, or more scenarios. And when you start to spell those out on a piece of paper, then there's more opportunity for someone come to you and say, well, what about the other situation, right? What if something else happens? You didn't talk about that, but you did talk about this specific situation. So did you mean for us to cover this as part of the agreement or not? So
it seems like it just becomes more argumentative and more lengthier and just more complex and requiring more energy, time. So what I can add to that, as someone who works with your contracts, right?
Yes.
And I've benefited a lot from using my husband's contracts and legal language in protecting my business and myself in terms of my time, services, and especially my inspiration, that, it's really helpful and time saving to have these contracts in hand. And as annoying and maybe somewhat costly it may be initially, I think had I done this maybe 10 years ago when I started out, I feel like I would be in a complete different space today, right?
Yeah. It's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so I highly recommend this from someone who has gone through the trials and ups and highs and lows of the music business. And if it ain't one thing, it's another. Like, let me just tell you. So I'm next again.
Yes.
My second one is, okay, you guys, truth or false? Musicians only get 12% of the music industry revenue. 12%. What do you think?
Ooh, that's pretty low. But do you
think it's true or false?
I think it's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it is true, you guys. It is so disheartening and unfortunate, okay? But as big as the music industry is, and the funny thing is, just the recording industry, you guys, is a $20.2 billion industry, okay?
Wow.
And just out of the recording industry, and who does all the recording? People like us, okay? We get 12% of that revenue. So don't forget. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about. So I wrote down some quick notes to share and I kind of put these numbers into perspective. So, like I said, the recording industry is $20.2 billion industry. And the music industry creates 1.9 million jobs in U.S. annually.
Wow.
The digital sales, like a streaming and listening to music on different platforms, those things generate, just digital sales generate 88% of music revenue. Okay, 88% of the music revenue is generated by digital sales. And guess what? Musicians only get paid about $30 an hour, and I have to say, that's a pretty accurate description.
Okay.
Right? That is not the number that I pay myself at all. And if you're interested in my rates and how much I pay myself, check out my website at www.journeychoi.com. But I have to say that the jobs that are always available that I can just step into and start next week, or even, give it to another colleague who's in search of, I guess I want to be careful on how I say this, an average or below average market hourly wage for an entrepreneur for myself. Like, they're out there. It's so easy. And they pay exactly about 20 to 30. There's plenty out there. So yeah, when people say the musicians earn an average of $30.39 an hour, I say that's pretty damn true, and that's why like I don't do most gigs and teaching coaching positions, because I know that my inspiration and my time and energy in my business cannot survive on a $30 hour rate, because I know how much income that we have to bring home as a household, okay? And you know, I can't. I'd be working like 12 hours a day if I were to be working for $30 an hour, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just not how it's sustainable. Maybe in your 20s and you have no kids, no multiple kids, and like you don't have other hobbies or nonprofits and other philanthropy, other endeavors of your life that you're in. But that's that. So
Wow,
how do we feel about 12%?
Yeah, that's when I'm still stuck on the 12% number.
Yeah, because what did you say about the paralegals? How much do they get paid?
Oh gosh, I think the last time that I checked, it was close to about 50 an hour.
Yeah, 50 an hour.
50 an hour is what you would typically see for a paralegal.
Yeah.
And I've seen rates that go higher than that, but I think average it's around 50 an hour.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so I think it's about time that people outside of music industry saw this as something that the musicians we really choose and love, and this is our livelihood, and this is what we do and who we are, and this is just how we are. And when others approach with complete utter ignorance about what I do and what what's required, it's really offensive. Yeah, I'm just gonna be out there. Like, people's ignorance can be offensive at times in the music industry, and I don't fault them for that. It's my job as a musician to educate those unaware of these things. But so that's my second true or false, and that is sadly true. 12% is all musicians take away. There's admins, there's distributors fee, and we split it by different platforms, all sorts of organizations, and everything else. So
Sad truth.
Yep.
Very sad. Oh goodness.
Okay, you're next.
All right, I've got a third one, and maybe this is another throw up, but all lawyers are expensive. True or false?
False.
Yes. That is correct. So not all lawyers are expensive. What I'll say about this is it really is just depending upon what you're asking an attorney to review or your lawyer to review. But there are multiple avenues of obtaining legal advice. We have these organizations that provide free legal advice for those who are just starting up in their business. We also have attorneys who will actually work with the client that will build a package for them that will be more of a flat fee versus an hourly fee. And then of course you do have those that have hourly fees, and those, when they're working on this hourly fee, they'll actually maybe provide some sort of break for you depending upon what you're asking them to consult with you about. So I guess the answer is, as I would put it very lawyerly, it depends. But I think, one of the things I want everybody to understand is that everyone needs an attorney. I don't think that anyone should wait for the last minute for an issue to occur before you hire an attorney. I think you should always have one. I think we even discussed that there are a few things that you should always have in a household, right? It's an accountant, it's an attorney, and there are a couple other ones that we had stated that we needed, but
like a first medical care.
Oh, yeah.
First response, or
like some sort of
like
medical
response.
Yeah, doctor.
Responders. Yeah.
And that's what I'll say, is that we are not all expensive, and don't I guess hesitate to do your research, because there's certainly organizations out there that will help those who are just starting up or don't have the income to afford an attorney. I will give you a little bit of a tip here really quickly, is that if you do work with an attorney that does this charges by the hour, find out how he does his or she does her hourly charges, whether if it's quarterly or if it's increments of 10 minutes, and then understand that they do round up to the nearest, I guess, tenth of an hour or quarter of an hour. So hold them on, for the call or hold them for the discussion. I don't care. Discuss whatever you want, but make sure you utilize your time wisely with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have one more or two more?
I've got a couple more, but we're keeping these sessions short and light, so.
That's right. Well, I'll share my last one, and you can share one more, just the answers.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last one I had was a question for you guys. And the myth or truth is you need to hustle day and night to be successful as an entrepreneur. Is that true or false? You need to hustle day and night. Do you know?
I say true.
No.
No?
No. It's not true. Okay? And I know this because I've done nothing but hustle my ass off for about 10 years until I realized this is just not the way. Because my goal isn't so much about expanding my income. My goal is reducing the hour I work to get that same income. So that's sort of what becomes more important once you've kind of done all your fancy gigs, big time opportunities, show gigs, even though they don't pay that much, and it's a lot of time reservations. It all comes down to how much can I make when I'm with my family, eating bonbons in our PJs, but making beautiful memories. So, yes, it does not take a day and night hustle to be successful. I know this because I've seen others achieve bigger and better success than me, and they've literally worked less. So it's a sad truth, but it's false. You guys don't have to work your ass off day and night. There are ways to really maximize on your consistency and your effort, and I do that for a living in my music business, and this is where I learned this. I've gotten weird things, despite what I thought the outcome would be, right? And then it has nothing to do with the hardcoreness of your hustle. Anyway, let's keep it short. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Your last one.
This one's for, I guess, I wanted to, I guess, maybe tell the world out there. So the one thing that I always get, or that sometimes I will get from others, is that lawyers are manipulative and argumentative. You think that's true or false?
True. True. Lawyers are argumentative in personal life, and I think that has to do with what you guys excel at. But you need to understand where you want to practice your, negotiating skills, and where you need to just understand and accept what the other person is trying to express to you, and be able to receive that.
Okay. I guess this could go both ways. I don't think.
Walk right into that one.
What I'll say about this, about all lawyers being argumentative or manipulative, is that you just have to understand what we do for a living. So we are guided by laws, regulations that are written on paper, that are filed away in books, and for us to kind of, go back and reference if there's ever a possible situation. What those books don't give you, or what those laws and regulations don't provide for, is for every single situation that happens out in daily life. So that's where we come in. We're not intentionally being manipulative because we want to be unethical, or just an ass at the end of the day, or argumentative just for the sake of being argumentative. It's just really our job to understand what those rules and regulations meant at the time that they're written, so that we can do our best job in helping our clients and consult them and guide them in the right direction. And that's what I'll say.
But you don't need to practice any of this guiding thing in your marriage, just FYI. And this is the thing. They come with this idea that they constantly need to, be at the top of escalation, that, it's an occupational thing, and I'm not criticizing legal people who are lawyers either, and it's something that I come with too, right, in my own weird quirks, and I have to check it, because I realize I can't talk to people the way I talk to at work with my normal regular people or family. Yes,
I will agree. There's a time to turn it on, and there's a time to turn it off. And so that is a balance that I work on.
And me too. It's very hard for people like us who are so competitive. It's just, we don't know when they're turning off.
But our intent is not to be argumentative, manipulative. We are here for our clients to ensure that they know what their rights are, because everybody's entitled to what's provided for them. And that's where I'll leave it.
Yes.
But I guess I did walk into that one, but it was a good one to walk into.
It was very good. Well, I will upload this now, and it won't be available for, I guess, maybe 30 minutes. Okay. But yeah. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Next week, we're going to be talking about what? Oh, yeah. Next week. Next one's going to be fun. Oh. Okay, so next week, you guys, we're doing 5 things we annoy each other about.
Ooh. We may have to extend that one to an hour.
Seriously. I don't know if we can keep it in 30 minutes, but we'll do our best. See you guys next week.
All right, everyone. Bye.
Thanks for being here. Bye-bye. Okay.